Welcome to another Cup of Joe. I'm your host, Joe Tumalo, CEO of PG Partner, with my new mug. I like big mugs and I cannot lie. And my returning guest, our new guest, Jay Grab from Realty Gift Fund. What's yours, Jay? What does that say? Amazing? Cool.
Amazing.
What's the
Spider-Man.
what's the theme song for that?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, right? That's all I know. Before your time. And and then Rick Peck joining me once again, the philanthropy guy, New Hampshire, as we say, right?
Yep.
Is that a big mug? That's a big mug?
It's a pretty big mug. And you can see, like, next to my head, it's almost as big as my head.
But never as large as mine. All my guests have to have a smaller, at least 2 inches smaller. Anyway, if welcome back, folks. Thanks as always for spending a little time with us today. Always here to do our best to add practical, tactical, and actionable ideas to help you raise more cash gifts and non-cash gifts, and to have fun doing it. Less stress and more fun. What a concept, right? And so, Rick, I'll let you introduce Jay and the connection that what brought us here today.
Yeah. So Jay does something that I have always wished would happen, but I just didn't know that somebody like Jay existed. So when I worked at Dartmouth College and Dartmouth Hitchcock and the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, I was like, I just wish somebody would come along and be like that expert who can help facilitate gifts of real estate, because there's so much in this country that is in the form of real estate, but not enough of it is donated. And then along comes Jay and his business partner, Bruce, and they only focus on accepting gifts of real estate on behalf of nonprofits who don't do it. And therefore, what they do in their geniusness is they take a fee and they make it super easy and then just wire the net proceeds to the nonprofit. And it's so brilliant and simple. And I was just like, gosh, I can't believe that this exists, and these two guys and their team are so incredible at it. So that's what brings us here today. I just felt like we need to advertise people like Jay and Bruce and Realty Gift Fund and all the good that they're doing for all the nonprofits out there.
Awesome. And there was another reason too, and we'll let you talk in a second, Jay. There's another reason why Jay's here, right? That really sparked from our podcast, talking about rejection and.
Oh, of course. Right. The other thing is Jay had a great story after he saw our podcast on rejection. He had a great story of his own about how he combated the no's to get to the yeses. So we could probably talk about both.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Jay, welcome.
Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, no. What's interesting, Joe, is Rick got to experience firsthand what we do when we just wired $1.2 million to a nonprofit that he's associated with up in New Hampshire. So you get to see what we do. He's known us for a while, and we love working with Rick and so forth. But I am here to tell a story, and the story that I think would helps everyone is over 40 years ago, 45 years ago, or something like that. I got a job in California because my future wife was going to school there, and I worked for a guy named Louis Franco. And Louis was the best salesman I've ever met in 45 years. And what we were doing, the job I had, is I was selling office supplies via the phone, phone calls. And I'd have a list every day of at least 200 companies out in California that had over 70 employees and so forth. And Louis would come in and he'd say, guys, and there's 8 guys in a boiler room kind of situation. And he said, guys, I want you to get 10 no's off this list in a row. And if you do, you can go home. Well, I was there for a year and could not get 10 no's. I think the most I got to was 9, and I was, hoping for him to say no, but they said yes, and they bought something. So it worked. So I took what Louis Franco had taught me and I brought it into the real estate world. And my first experience was I was a broker for a few years. And then a broker friend of mine in Dallas calls me and said, there's 40 acres right here adjacent to DFW Airport. There's a bank in Ohio that has a $3.5 million loan on it. They need to get it off their books by the end of the year. This was December 10th. So I wrote a letter of intent for $150,000. And my name is John J. Grab, but my initial JJ. I put JK Grab, just kidding, okay? Because I thought, well, they came back at 500. We went up to 175. They came down to 400, and we ended up settling at $350,000 on a property that the loan was $3.5 million. So I said, wow, you know, I was, you know, they could have said no. So I took that 10 no's in a row. And for 40 years, I worked it in our own portfolio. And we ended up buying over $300 million worth of property. I could never get a no. And my daughter's boyfriend was buying a house here in Santa Fe. And I said, try to get 10 no's in a row. Well, he kind of got the concept. So he wrote an offer on one. And they said no. And there's another one. And he wrote it was $4.5 million. He wrote an offer for $3 million. And they came down to $3,750. They ended up settling like $3.4 million. So it worked, Joe. It worked, Rick. Okay. And I think it's a really good technique for fundraisers, for whoever, to go out and you have to get 10 no's in a row. That's the key to it. Not, after you get a yes and then you get a no, that doesn't count. So after you get a yes, you start over, okay, with 10 no's. And I used that for 40, as I said, over 40 years in the real estate, and it worked. And, God bless Louis Franco. I don't know where he is today, but, he is the national sales manager for Jack LaLanne Studios. And I think we've been around long enough to know that at some point there was a Jack LaLanne studio in your, hometown, or you're down another city and so forth. So he was a good, great teacher. I just want to share that story with everyone.
Thank you. That's powerful. And we were talking about what's called smart brevity, is make your point quickly and impactfully, and you did. Thank you so much. A friend of mine, Mary Valley, who's been with Plan Giving Marketing Company for many, many years. Years ago, when she first got in the business, she was helping me when I was selling services in the Plan Giving space. And I remember, and she was a purchasing agent, never sold before. And a couple of weeks into it, Mary, how's it going? Let's sit down and talk about it. How is it going? How was your day today? She said, I got a lot of no's out of the way. I love that. And that was close to 20 years ago. So I love that.
I think what I like about...
Yeah, please, Rick.
Oh, I was just going to say what Jay is teaching me are two things. One is you never give up. You keep going back. And you go in expecting the answer no. That's a funny sort of way to go about it, right? And then sometimes what I was hearing Jay say is you almost play to the no, which is to say, I'm going to come in at what feels like an absurdly low offer. And then they come back as if to say, at least you're playing the game with me. At least you're going back and forth. We're engaging. And eventually we get to a yes. But the idea is, now I don't know, this is what I'm thinking is, what Jay is doing is teaching me never forget what you're in there for. Like, in other words, you're still trying to get a good deal out of this. You're not just going in to fall down to get a yes and really price yourself into such a place that it's not economically viable for you, but you are going in trying to make a living or a profit. But in some ways you're going in just a little too low because it means that you're going to potentially lose that sale. But in fact, you didn't. So anyway, there's some really rich stuff in there, I think.
Great stuff.
You also, Rick, when you get that yes, okay, when you do this low and get this, you come into the middle, you get the yes on your terms, okay?
Right.
And so it's not on their terms; it's on your terms. So that makes you feel really good.
That's right. No, that's what I was getting to as well. As the same idea is that you aren't going in and just lying down. You're saying, here's what I want too. I'm being really clear about what I'm looking for in the negotiation.
Good stuff. And Jay, the few moments we have left. So back to the services you're doing now. Are you folks a 501c3?
We're a 501c3.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, and we take properties of any type, anywhere. And last year we closed properties from Manhattan all the way up to Alaska. And I'm a real estate guy, as I just told you, who fell into philanthropy. So is my partner. He has over 40 years. So there isn't a property out there, Joe, that we haven't seen or dealt with in our past lives that we're seeing now in the nonprofit world. But it's so fulfilling, okay, to, as I said, we just wired $1.2 million up to Rick's, a nonprofit he's close to up in New Hampshire, or, 500,000 to the MS Society, or, Alzheimer's. About 65% of our transactions go into donor advised funds. Okay, so we work with the Fidelities, the Vanguards, RANDs, American Endowment Foundations of the world. And we're just, I'm right behind me, behind these pictures is his office, okay? And he comes in every day, Joe, and he knocks on the door, okay, or the wall. He says, I got the
How many
best job.
noses you got?
He said, I got the best job in America. And I knocked back harder. I said, no, I have the best job in America. So we're loving what we do.
So the donor advised fund got my attention. To my understanding, and my wife and I have one a fund with Fidelity, and not that we're in that position, but if we are in a position that we wanted to donate appreciated assets like real estate, they told me that I could donate it to them and they would deal with it from there. But you're saying you're dealing with them?
They
Or
don't.
are you on the other end of it, where they're saying, okay, donor, we'll take care of it, and then they go to you?
Exactly.
Okay.
So they don't take real estate directly, Fidelity. They work through us. We're
Okay.
we're like any nonprofit or donor advised funds real estate office down the hall. Okay. We're just one call away. And all we ask them to do is ask your donor if they'd like to learn more. And then if they say yes, we get on the Zoom call with them and we go from there.
And for our fundraising audience, so again, we're the donor. Let's say I'm working with Rick, his charity. Rick, we want to donate this house that we've had at this New Jersey shore for 45 years and don't want to pay the capital gains tax on it, but we do definitely want to make a bigger gift. Rick Jay pulls you in, and then,
Exactly.
right? And then so donor, we're donating it. We have some type of agreement that we're going directly to Rick's charity, and then Rick, how does that work? At a high level, how does that? Yeah.
Hey, Rick, I think it'd be a good idea to just go through the last transaction that we worked with you.
Sure.
Because
okay, this is it's almost exactly how you described it, Joe. I talked to the nonprofit. They said, we have this couple coming to us with this potential gift of primary residential real estate. And I said, okay. And so what are you going to do? And they said, well, we were going to go and get a committee together here internally and just kind of walk through it. And I said, I have a better idea. I'm going to pull Jay in from Realty Gift Fund and his business partner, Bruce. You're going to have a conversation with them. So it was the executive director, the head of development, and Jay and Bruce. And they had the conversation. And immediately the nonprofit was like, boy, this is going to take a lot of work off our plate if we just work directly through Jay and Bruce. So then Jay and Bruce picked up the conversation with that couple. And the long and short of it is they made it really easy for that donation to happen. And then Jay and Bruce worked on selling that property after the donation was made. And then when the net proceeds came in, the wire came in to the nonprofit. So they really didn't do anything other than tee up the ball for the conversation. But then they waited until Bruce and Jay were done, and then they received the money. And why this is also significant is this same nonprofit was thinking about going into a campaign of $5 million. So $1.1 million comes in, and it's almost 25% of their campaign from an unsolicited gift of real estate that they normally would have gotten pretty nervous about. And Jay and Bruce made it really easy. And then the punchline here is the nonprofit that received this money, ultimately, they were not the first nonprofit that the couple approached.
Wow.
The couple approached another nonprofit, and that nonprofit said, no, we don't take in gifts of real estate. Thank you, but move on. Now, I have no idea if they knew how much money this was, but they immediately shut the door. So then the couple just shopped it to another nonprofit, this one, that ended up being the successful recipient of the money. So that's the moral of the story, is don't say no, find people like Bruce and Jay to help you out.
And as we're wrapping up here, Jay, what percentage of deals do you guys not take, or
20%.
opportunities do you not take?
20%. It was 20% no. Yeah.
Okay.
Those
So it
are
might be,
because-
I might have like a piece of property in a very, very remote area of northern Pennsylvania. Might have whatever. It's like, you know what, it's worth 50 grand.
it's not worth it. Our fees are $20,000 to $30,000, 20 minimum 20, maximum 30. So it could be a $14 million deal. It'll be
Whoa.
$30,000. Okay.
I thought you took a percentage.
Not a percentage. That's
Oh, wow.
their flat fee. They go to our charity to keep us going. But the 20% we say no to is, the guy from Alabama who calls me in midnight and he said, I got a gas station and it's starting to smell. And, I think I want to donate. Yeah, that's no. If there's not philanthropic intent behind the gift, we don't want to do it. Okay. We're not a tax vehicle for someone. I want them to show us that they have philanthropic intent where the money's going to.
That's cool. And how can people get in touch with you, Jay?
My direct number is 505-690-7174. I encourage everyone to go to our website, which is realtygiftfund.org, realtygiftfund.org. There's a 4-minute video that explains exactly what we do. It's worth watching.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jay. Rick, thank you as always. Thanks for bringing Jay to my attention to help that he can potentially help my clients and our audience. And Rick, people Rick, you are the philanthropy guy, the philanthropy guy. Right?
That's right. thephilanthropyguy.com. And if you want to reach me by email, it's thephilanthropyguy@gmail.com. So the philanthropy guy. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you both, guys.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Right?
Salud.
Thank you.